Hi, so I'm Coach Dane at Gymstar Sports Center in Ferndale, Washington, and this video is about parkour drills you can do on the beam station. A couple things about the beams in general. The ends here, metal bits, make sure the kids know to be careful of both the hanging bits here and the lower arm pieces, especially on the lower beams. We don't want them jumping or balancing above the metal parts. Another thing, make sure they are looking where they're stepping and jumping in general in all these stations. You don't want them looking around at you, the coach, or the kids, getting distracted. Make sure they're focused, remind them to look where they're stepping, except for backwards walks, of course. So this video is intended for gymnastics coaches who are teaching parkour classes here at Gymstar. Beams are useful for jumping as well as balance. So here I have two beams in a V, allowing precision jumps from beam to beam at increasing distances. Make the jump a little farther each time, landing on the balls of the feet, swinging the arms. And here I'm doing feet together jumps. Practice those because that's the biggest jump you're going to be able to do. So don't really want to do this type of thing. It can be good practice for certain things, but feet together jumping is going to be more useful in the long run, and it's harder. Another jumping drill on the beam, jump over foam blocks. Feet are together. Make the blocks a little bit farther each time that the student succeeds at jumping over without crashing. Notice the blocks are in the middle. We don't want kids landing at the end over the metal bits unless you really protect them well. Everything should be done in the middle, because sometimes they're going to come down the side. Gymnastic style forward rolls on the beam are also parkour. They can be done as shoulder rolls as well, but usually start with a forward roll. It's easier than a shoulder roll on a beam anyway. Woo. Barely. The low beams pointed at the pit are a great place to do running or moving as fast as the student feels comfortable into the pit. So they can practice going at with a little more speed and then jumping as far as they want to jump, as long as it's clear in the foam pit. Advanced and intermediate students may also do front flips off of the beams into the foam pit. On the high beam I would have them stand. On the lower one they can run into it if they want to. And since it's 1 foot takeoff generally, they can do punches, but it's easier up 1 foot. Try to get them to drive that back heel to make it more of a Webster style flip. So here, kick. My favorite skill to do on this beam is bear walks. The reason for that is at the end of the beam, there's a jump into the foam pit, and it's nice to have them do something a little more strenuous in order to earn each jump into the foam pit. So have them start at this end, bear walk all the way down, jump into the foam pit. The red mat here is optional, and make sure there's nobody jumping into the foam pit from the tumble track when they're doing it. So there are 3 variations of sloth that I do. We have just traveling forward and backward. Make sure the kids watch out for these metal pieces at the end here. Don't want to hit your head on those. Number 2, turning around. This is more advanced. And number 3, climbing from sloth to on top. So there are lots of ways to go over a beam. Start with the basic. You jump up, arms fully straight, get a foot up. This hand's no longer necessary. Bring your leg through, down. Again, straight arms, foot up, kick through, and down. That can turn into a little more dynamic version. Jump, foot up, at the same time, kick through, and down. Jump, foot up, kick through, and down. And then it can just turn into a little tap. Jump, tap, down. Jump, tap, down. And eventually, no touch with the legs. Just jump over. This side. Next up, we're going to go up on top and then over, starting kind of asymmetrically off to one side. Both feet up and down. Both feet up and down. After that, right through the middle. So feet stay together, like a Kong vault. Jump. Feet together and down. Notice it's a combination, jumping with the legs and pushing with the arms. And then eventually you can just do standing Kong vaults. So jump, push, over. Jump, push. Beam is also a good place to practice turn vaults, which are useful when you're going over a rail or a wall and there's a big drop on the other side and you want to hang on. So one hand goes normal, the other hand's going to go in reverse. The reverse hand's going to stay planted as you jump over, and the other hand is going to grab next to the reverse hand. So let's jump over. Again, on reverse, jump over, grab. So in this position, boom, you could be hanging off of a wall. Big drop behind that you don't want to take, but you can climb down. So just walking and getting comfortable on a beam is great. So walking forwards, backwards, sideways, sideways, that's all good. It's parkour. They don't have to do anything fancy with their hands. Forwards. It is still a good idea to have them touch before putting their foot back. And sideways. If you want to make it more advanced, they could do grapevine or side chasses-ish. If you have a little bit of time after all the kids have rotated through your stations and you aren't ready to go to the next location in the gym yet, a great way to take up that extra 2 to 4 minutes, however long it is to do a contest. You can do sloth hang contest for time, so all of the kids will be hanging, so you can hang the longest. You can do balance contests, generally standing on one foot, see how long they can balance. That will take up more time than sloth hang. You could do front support contest. Yeah, those are 3 good contests you can do.